Well, the first thing I needed to find out was how do you hook a scope up to the XY signals coming off of an XY game, like the SEGA G80 system here. And going through YouTube and searching the internet, there's really not a whole lot of information out there about how you actually hook one up. And I'm not too familiar with an oscilloscope. I've had this for quite a few years. I've used it a few times. My main use I bought this for, that I used it for, I used to have a test bench set up with CB radio equipment. And all I really used this for was a modulation scope to set the modulation on the CB radio so that you're not over-modulating. So you get a nice modulation signal using the B&K test equipment for CB service repair, which I still have. I'm not into that right now. But anyway, but this does have what you need is a scope, and this is 35 megahertz, so this should work. Usually they're around 40 megahertz scopes or whatever, but you know, I'd say you'd need at least a 40 megahertz to do anything with arcade repair, but like I say, I'm not an expert. But you do want one that has an XY mode, and it has to have two channels, because you have to have an X channel and a Y channel, and you have to be able to combine those in the XY mode to display the XY signal from the game. So you have to have two probes, which I have here. One set up on channel A, and the other one set up on channel B. And these are just standard probes. You have your input here, and then you have a ground on each one. And that's basically it. Now the game board, this is the connector right here that comes from the game board. And it has, and I looked these up to see what the pinouts are. You have two wires here, a green and a yellow. That is your X and your Y. I believe the green is X and the yellow is Y. Then next to it you have your ground wires, and that's your ground for the video signal. And then you have it looks like brown, orange, and red, but they're supposed to be, that's your actual your signals for your color, for your red, green, and blue. Now why they use these colors, I don't know. I guess that's the colors that came in this wire that they used. But they're basically your red, green, and blue. So all we're concerned with is the X and Y pair and the ground. Now, we have to be able to hook this up to this. So without cutting into the wires or anything, I'm just going to take this connector here and just going to plug it into the plug. Now, this is where you got to be very careful. Now, you can make up a special harness. I could solder some wires on here and fix it up so that wouldn't be any danger of shorting anything, but I'm going to be real careful about it. I'm going to just take my probe here, and I'm going to, first I got to find out, yeah, I color coded these. I put the green tag on here so I know this goes to the green wire. And if you get it mixed up, the only thing that'll happen will be the picture will be rotated sideways. So in theory anyway. Alright, so now I'll hook the other one up. And now I'm going to hook a ground up to the ground here. And I believe I can get by with just hooking one of the grounds up. We'll see. Okay, so now we're hooked up. I have a X and Y signal hooked into each one of the probes, and I got a ground hooked to it. So now all I have to do is turn the scope on. Turn the game on. And as soon as it warms up here, cut this light off. Be very careful, make sure you don't short any of these out. And there you have it. So that's just showing you how to hook it up to a XY scope. You have to make sure you got your mode in XY, and of course you're going to have to adjust these two knobs for the channels, because so you can squinch it up or go out. So you have to actually turn these down. You can actually make it any size you want. So you just have to adjust it to the screen. And let's see, move it over a little bit. Have a flaky control here. Okay, there we go. So that's basically all it is to it. I just thought I should demonstrate how to hook that up, because there's not a whole lot of information on the internet about how to do this. This has just been another arcade fix, tips and tricks from past videos you may have missed. Have you had your arcade fixed today?